It's time to soothe, groove, and move those hidden innuendos. Hello, and welcome to the program. Are we going to talk a little frisque today? Are we going to,
Sure.
do a little bit of this?
Do it.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm moving my shoulders here because
do you like dancing?
I do like to dance. I'm not a great dancer, but I will make the attempt.
It's good.
Do I get brownie points for that at least, for making the attempt?
You do.
Okay.
You do. Because at least any guy that will at least put himself out there and try and go for it and keep his mind open, you got good brownie points there for a woman.
I can tell you this though, when you do see me or if you ever see me walking, I do actually have a dance, a rhythm when I walk.
Okay.
I'm a really good walker. I feel as if I've got tunes embedded in my mind. So when I'm walking, you're like, yeah, that guy's dancing to something. He's got no earpods on.
I like it.
Yeah. So.
I like it. I dated a guy that had a really weird, silly walk, and it would just make me giggle inside.
Did you ever correct him on that?
So if you have a good walk, that's good.
Yeah. Well, all right. The truth is coming out here.
I like to get dirty sometimes.
Don't we all, honey? There's nothing wrong with that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you mentioned because you're in Utah, you were part of LDS. Is there a lot of sexual frustration with the women of Utah?
Oh, yeah. I was married for 20 years with a virgin. We were both virgins. That was not sex.
What was it?
That was baby. That was making babies.
Ooh.
Kind. And ever since I got divorced and started exploring, because I started actually unlocking myself during my marriage, because I was actually molested as a child. So I had numb spots. I didn't have as much sensation. And I started unlocking myself and stuff. And I didn't really desire sex that much either. As I started unlocking myself, I wanted it more, and I started orgasming more often. And then once I divorced, we had other things. We just wanted different things. So we went in different directions. I have 4 kids. But ever since divorce, it's been awesome. I am so glad I took this journey to just go off on my own and explore. And man, the people that don't know what it really is, they are missing out.
So what is it though?
Just the way to express yourself in that way too is amazing.
Yeah. But what is it about that church though? What is it about that church, and why? I don't know why I'm just single-handedly just pointing them out, but I hear that all the time, is that LDS, they don't teach women or men how to properly engage in sexual intercourse.
Well, for one, I don't know what church does do that. But the thing is that they shame a person. You're not allowed to have sex before marriage, for one. So, when you get married, who knows if you're going to be compatible in that way. And then you're not allowed to masturbate or touch yourself at all. Yet I could stroke a man's penis, but I couldn't touch myself. How does that make any sense? So I had no exploration with myself really for years. And my mother told me that oral sex is bad. So for 5 years of my marriage, we didn't even have oral sex. And then when we finally did, I was like, oh my God, this is good.
It's amazing, right?
I like this. This actually gets me in the mood easier and gets me turned on. And then there was this shame feeling behind it. But then my husband and I realized this is between you and I. This is good. How could that be bad?
Right.
And then you're not supposed to watch porn. Way bad. And the ultimate thing is to go to the temple. So we have a temple that you have to make promises, and I don't know, it's just this whole thing. So if you do anything against the questions that you're asked to be worthy to go to the temple, it's very shame driven and guilt driven, that if I can't go to the temple, then I'm a terrible person.
How would they know if you go to the temple or not? Or if you sinned or not?
So every 2 years, you have to get what's called a temple recommend. And you have to go to the bishop
right?
and he asks you questions, which how disgusting is it for a married man to be asking another married woman if she's, I don't even remember the questions. It's been so long.
Wow.
But so it's kind of crazy and kind of keeps you in a box of thinking that and they talk about the iron rod. So if you let go of the iron rod and go off the path, which there are so many paths to get to the same place. So if you go off the path, then you are all of a sudden labeled a horrible person, that you're not obeying the commandments that Moses made. You're not keeping on the path of choosing the right. So yeah, like if you waver, like even tea is against the word of wisdom. So it took me like a lot of years once I started going holistic. And that's why we don't drink coffee. Coffee is definitely against the word of wisdom, but even tea. And I'm like, tea? Like I've asked my mother if she would like some tea. And she's like, no, she's very stout Mormon still.
I don't understand that. So it's like drinking tea goes against the words of wisdom. Isn't that like the actions of wisdom? Like when you think about that, because you're acting on it.
Well, this is what's weird is it says hot drinks when we drink hot cocoa, but tea is healthier than hot cocoa.
Yeah. It's so fucking weird.
It's so fucking weird. But it wasn't weird when I was in.
Speaking of iron rods, I know you're ready to meet some iron rods here. Right?
Wait, what?
Catch my drift, iron rods,
Yes. I love the iron rod.
It's good to have an iron rod. Let's just put it that way, gentlemen. And especially how to use it.
What to do when I don't have one.
Yeah. I'm sure you do. But like, so tell me though. So tell us, like, because again, it's kind of like the irony of you being LDS, living in Utah, practicing the Mormon religion, and all of a sudden you transitioning to becoming a sensuality coach, which, by the way, I think that's fantastic. I think that's so hot. And I mean that in a good way. I mean, like, it's amazing that you can explore what you did and then you transition into what you're doing now and saying, I've been through that. I don't want that. But here's what I'm doing to not only enhance myself, but to enhance all these women who need that encounterment of sexual healing and sexual comfort. Mm-hmm. I think that's fantastic. So kudos to you.
Yeah, thank you. I've gone through hell and back for doing it, coming out of the closet, Literally. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
But I'm at a good place now, and I'm like, people have accepted it, Usually people will reject you, then they'll avoid you, and then they'll follow you. So
what do you mean by that? Who's rejecting you?
Well, my two oldest sons, they are virgins. So when I came out with it, it was this whole uproar. Like my oldest boy, his leaders came and said, "What is your mom doing?" And then he has friends on their LDS mission, and they saw my post and they were like, "What is your mom doing?" So he had like this whole uproar in his life. And then he texted me, "You're disgusting. I can't believe that you're doing this." And like said the worst kind of shit to me. And it just ripped me apart. And then my second boy, and my oldest is 20. So it's not like he's young. I don't know if he's still a virgin. He's finally with a woman. But then my second boy, his girlfriend's mom found me on Facebook, and I was just giggling because I'm like, oh, that's awesome. And he was like, "No, it's disgusting. I can't believe that my friends and people can find you and see what you're doing." And I'm like, really? Like, you don't even really know. I mean, it would be one thing if I was selling myself, but I'm selling a service to help people actually let go of their blocks and their like deep wounds that hold them back from actually having fulfilling relationships and liberate themselves in the bedroom. So many women are in their head. They're not in their heart. and they can't orgasm because they get to that point where they're nearly there, and then they get in their head and it stops them. They have a block there. And sexual energy is the highest vibration that you can actually manifest so much from that energy. Good things. And even happiness and joy. And I mean, it is the most euphoric, like, amazing feeling a woman can have.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And there's nothing sexier than that. There's nothing sexier than a man getting a woman off, especially with like your tongue and mouth. Like it's the best. It is the best feeling in the world for me, is like hearing you moan and like just go crazy.
Yeah.
You know,
and that a man could actually help a woman feel safe enough it's the most vulnerable place.
Yeah.
Right? Like, not every man gets in my bed. Very few do, compared to, billions of people on this planet. And you're sharing that one thing with a person, even some women I've talked to that have been with 100 people. Like, it doesn't matter who you are. You share it with very few people on this planet. So
the few,
to
the
be
proud.
Yeah.
Of
and
course.
It goes both ways, because men are just as treasured too. I don't know why the world puts men down and sexualizes them when women need it just as much.
Sure. Let me ask you this though. On a first date, if everything goes well for you and that guy, are you going to allow him to sleep with you?
So I'm actually pretty new in this field. And my rule is no. In fact, there's a really good book called Power in the Pussy. And it actually really talks about how a woman should wait at least 2 months. Hold on.
2 months?
2 months.
Wow, that's a long time.
It is a long time.
I don't think most men can wait 2 days. But tell me that, like 2 months. What do you think? Is that too much?
A woman can either. But I've been getting to know this guy, okay? For example, I've been getting to know this guy. And it's been like a couple months almost. Because I wanted to make sure first we got to categorize the types of sex we have though. Okay. There's the type of sex that you share with a person that's more like, this is my person. This is someone that checkmarks all of my boxes that I could see myself living with forever, right?
Yeah. That's the person you're in love with. Right.
That's the person that you usually fall in love with.
Got it. Okay.
That would be one to wait 2 months to actually see if he just wants to get in your pussy or if he actually wants something more and get in your pussy.
Okay.
Because a man should want that.
Well, absolutely. You would hope.
Duh.
Honey, I love you so much. I just don't want to have sex with you ever. I just wanted to say I love you and just share my moment with you. Yeah.
Just want all the other stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like, that would just be weird. And then there's the other type that's, okay, we're just going to have fun and this is what it is. And sometimes some people can fall in love after a while, right? But you know that if it's right away, this is for sex.
Are you talking about like the friends with benefits?
Like if we got together and we met for the first time and we're like, damn, like we're feeling it, all of that. We have chemistry. We don't actually know yet if we're somebody that we want to spend the rest of our lives with.
Okay.
That takes time.
Sure. But
so
we've mastered everything in the bedroom though, right? Like you and I have mastered everything in the bedroom, but we just don't know as far as compatibility wise, compassion wise, if we're there yet. Okay. Got it. Okay. Now, with that being said, can you backtrack and go from sex to compatibility? Emotional compatibility? Can you do that?
Well, yeah. That's when like some people, like I was with somebody that it started out just hot, having sex and just that's all we wanted to do all the time. And then it was like a couple months later when I'm like, gosh, like I kind of want more with this person. Started kind of falling for him, you know? And there's no right or wrong way. it just is what it is. And I believe in flowing with how you feel.
So what happened with that guy? Did you reach out to him and let him know how you felt?
Well, yeah, we ended up being together for like 2 years. But there was things that were off. It just weren't serving me anymore. So eventually it ended.
Like what?
There was just like some really toxic behaviors and things that just hurt me. And I just got to a point where I was like, I don't need to hurt like this anymore. So I just let him go. Yeah. Like we knew kind of from the beginning, and we worked on things and it got better and better. But it got to a point where there was just like this point where neither of us could change enough to create the most beautiful thing in our relationship together, that we just had to eventually let it go.
Yeah. But 2 years is a long time though.
It is
That's a long time.
But it was like coming out of my divorce and then a year after. So he just really helped me through that. So I think that there was a lot of trauma bonding with it.
Yes.
And he helped me through the darkest nights of my soul. It was just so tough.
Are you feeling better now?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
I love that. You're like, oh, yeah. Okay, so you're telling me there's the sex with love. Then there's the sex with potential love. What other sex is there?
I mean,
I know the answer,
think?
but I just want to hear
from
you.
What sexes do you have?
Lots of sex. I
mean, then there's the one night stands or the 2 night stands, right? And
yeah, of course. And then there's the friends with benefits, and
yeah,
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'll be fully transparent with you. Like last night, I reconnected with the girl that from like 2 years ago, and she came over. We got honored with each other, and we had amazing sex. We had it was great passionate sex. And after I was done, I asked her, said, how do you want me to complete you? And she looked at me. She looked at me like, wait, what? What did you just say? I was like, tell me, how do you want me to do this? Because again, even though she was fulfilled, I was like, well, I want to make sure that you orgasm. Because I think the question you always have to ask for men is, once you're done, you want to make sure that the woman's done too. You want to make sure that she's got her fill as well. And I think there's no shame, no harm in asking a woman, what can I do to help you? What can I do to make sure that we complete this night together, to where it's not just me just taking it all. I want to give it back to you. So I asked her, and then she's like, well, you can do this. I said, perfect. And just doing whatever I could to make sure that she was having a good time. And I was like watching her, and like I said, there's nothing more fulfilling seeing another woman just go off on like the things that you are in control of with her body. Right? The fact that like she was trying to touch me, I was like, no, let me touch you. I got this. But it was really nice to see that. And at the end, I told her, I said, be honest with me. Like, let me know if there's anything that you want me to do differently. I want to know. And she said, well, is there going to be a next time? I said, well, absolutely, if you want there to be. But I did make it. And again, I'm just being truthful here, because again, I don't want to sugarcoat shit. But I did tell her, I said that I'm not in a relationship mode right now. Not because I don't think that you're great. I do. She's fabulous. She's beautiful, very sexy, great kisser. But I told her, I said, right now, my life and devotion is not towards a relationship. It's more towards me, my kids, this movement, this podcast. But I told her, I said, but if you are open to it and you feel like you are safe with it, why don't we have something to where we can help each other out? Right? And I told her, I said, why don't we just be friends with benefits? So she's open to it. And she appreciated that. She actually sent me a text this morning saying, I really appreciate you being honest with me. And I said, you kidding me? Like, I don't want to hold anything back. So I want to be fully transparent with you. But let me ask you this, though. Do you think if most men were to ask you or other women that same question, do you think they would get the same response?
I'm not sure, honestly. I think it depends on the person. Because honestly, I think, to kind of backtrack with what you're saying, I think it's so fucking hot when a man just takes me and just like completes me in a way that like I'm not really expecting, and then he gives me just such a great surprise, you know? And I think every woman wants to be taken care of.
Yeah.
They do, you know? And then to kind of piggyback on, you know, the conversation, what is the intention of what we're doing here? You know, do we have that conversation before we have sex or after? You know, because being sexual with a person, we don't know in a woman's mind how attached or what the meaning is behind sex too. So like with one guy, I thought, oh, well, if we're having sex, we're a thing, right?
Oh, there's attachment.
There could be. Yeah.
Right.
And then it hurt because it wasn't that. But at least I wasn't too deep yet. I hadn't really given him my heart or anything yet. But I think those conversations are so important so that you lay down the boundary and you're basically saying, hey, I don't want to hurt you. Like, that's the last thing I want to do. So let's be honest about what this is. And if we come to an agreement, you're basically negotiating. You know, if we come to an agreement, this is what this is. And if you enjoyed it just as much, because I just like a week ago, this guy that I was getting to know for a couple months, and I actually hadn't known the rule of the 2-month rule kind of thing yet.
Wait, what's the 2-month rule? Oh, they're talking about the pussy rule. The two, yes. Yeah.
Because he has a lot of things that I want in my person that I would be with for long term.
Okay.
And so I've been really trying to see, okay, is he really true to who he says he is? Does he, I want someone, because I've also been with somebody and he got inside my pussy and then he left. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Right.
So there are those guys.
Of course.
And there wasn't a conversation either. Like
there are all those girls too. Just so you know, there are women who like to do the one night stands and like, I'm done.
Yes.
Don't need to come back. Yeah.
Totally.
And that's okay. Yeah.
So just making your intentions known so that you both know, and then you can agree because you know the intention behind it.
Okay.
Right. I think that's important anyway, because I treasure myself.
So let me ask you this though. If you match with a guy, right? Online dating, you match with a guy, you've gone out with them, no sex. We'll say you've gone out with a guy for 3 dates, no sex, there's no chemistry. And then all of a sudden you guys just happen to not talk to each other for like a couple months. And all of a sudden you see him again somewhere randomly. And then you text him, you say, hey, it was good seeing you and blah, blah, blah. Good seeing you too. He resurfaces and he says, let's get together. And you guys go out again and you guys have a really good time, but still no sex. But you don't feel that connection with them. You can't see yourself being with this guy for whatever it is, in a relationship type of status. And then you and him have a conversation to where like, you're like, let's talk about this because I like you and I know you like me, but I don't feel like you and I can be compatible with each other. Do you think that if the plan is to be friends with benefits, do you think like you should have a good conversation to set the ground rules before you get into the bedroom?
I think so. I think so. Don't you? Do you?
Absolutely. What types of rules do you think though? Because I think for the first rule, I think is to leave the emotions aside. And I know there will be emotions there, but as far as like
that's
the love,
my number one.
Yeah, like don't fall in love.
Yeah.
Right?
Which when we fall in love, it also is because we're picturing a future with a person, usually. And we're seeing ourselves in their life and their life in ours. So my other rule is I cannot picture a future with this person whatsoever.
And that can be
because
for
if
women.
I fall in love with that story that I tell myself, I can fall in love harder when that future may never be. Especially
but that is doable though, right? Would you say that's doable for women? Okay.
Oh yeah. I've been with one that I was like, okay, I want to do friends with benefits, but I don't. So that was one of my number one rules. Never get emotionally attached. And the other one was I cannot picture a future with that person at all. And those two things I felt like okay, he could leave and go do his own thing anytime and I would be completely fine.
Yeah.
There doesn't need to be any kind of sadness, no heartbreak, no nothing. Because it was never something to put my heart into. It's just we're getting together and enjoying each other and we're fucking around and just...
Yeah, but are you okay knowing that if that's the case where you do have a friend with benefits, are you okay with the fact knowing that like he's probably got like 4 or 5 other girls and I'm probably
So that's my other goal. No, I'm not okay with that.
Okay.
It's like a monogamous relationship without it being. It's monogamous in the sex area because for me, I'm very sensitive energetically and I care about what energy's coming into my space, especially sexually. So my rule is if you're okay with it's just us two having sex, then I'm cool with being your friend because we're fulfilling each other in that way. Friends with benefits. But if you're fucking around with other people, I want to know. Because then I can make a choice at that point if I'm still okay with it.
Right.
If not, and I'm not okay with it anymore,
how can you take his word for it, though? How would you be able to take his word for that?
That's why I kind of feel him out for a couple months. See what kind of person he is.
Yeah.
You know?
That's hard, right? Because there's
I think it's so important to trust yourself because, okay, say he does go off. I have to consider that too. Even with a partner. Have to consider this person could be with other people. Am I okay with that? And if it's a no, well, then I'm going to be taking different measures.
Okay, but what about you though?
Not the right person for me.
Sure. But you would stick to your word though. You would tell him truthfully, like, hey, I'm not going to sleep with other people. Okay.
I'm not afraid to tell a person, hey, I like this other person and I kind of want to like do that. Or even, I don't even feel like a person needs to know beforehand if I'm having those thoughts or feelings. It's if I go down that road and I'm going to do that with another person, then I can go tell my friend, hey, this is what I did. I actually really like this. And the thing is because I'm going to be dating. If I'm friends with benefits with someone, I'm going to be dating. Like I'm in the middle of becoming friends with benefits with a person. We're kind of thinking about how that would be like. And I already have a date on Saturday. I actually kind of have two. So
you kind of have two?
Yeah.
You do. You got two. That's great.
So I don't need to tell him about that. That's my business.
Well, also, if you do, but which by the way, that's awesome that you have 2 dates. I'm assuming they're not at the same time.
No, one in the morning and then one at like at the afternoon.
What a baller! Look at you. I'm gonna get to that, but real quick though, like if you are having a good time, like let's just say if the whole point of it is to have friends with benefits and you're dating, I think you should definitely tell that other guy that you're having sexual intercourse with, like, I'm still dating, just so you know, because you have to expect that he's dating as well.
Yeah. So even like the new guy that I'm going to go on a date with, I'm not going to tell him anything about my friends with benefits unless we start getting serious. And I'm thinking, hey, like, I kind of think it would be nice to go down, this path with you and have an intimate connection. That's the point where I'd be like, you need to know though that I don't even know if he'd need to know if I have a friend with benefits. I kind of don't think he would need to know.
No. Yeah. And
then at that point I have to decide, okay, well, first off, I need to tell my friend with benefits, hey, I went down like I was with a person. Do we want to continue this? If it's mutual, yes. Okay, we'll go from there. And then the other guy, if I were to have sex again with my friends with benefits, then I want to do it again with this new guy, I probably need to talk to him about that. That's how I feel. That's my morals and my values and where I stand. I mean, people can do it.
I think that's great. I think that's fantastic that you do that. That you're being fully transparent.
Hopeful.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate that. Well, I appreciate that you tell men that. I'm not like you're dating me, but
I mean, I even have the phone conversation with them. I have, like, how do you how do you like to be loved? How do you like to be touched? You know, what kinds of things need to be said to you so that you feel deeply loved? You know, what is your love strategy? Have you ever cheated? What made you go down that path? What did you learn from it? You know, how often are you dating? What kind of women do you date? Who do you fuck and who do you not? You know, I think when you're very open and honest at the beginning and you create a safe place for one another, it really opens up for far less cheating, for one. Like, there's really no need to cheat when you can be honest and say, hey, I want to go down this path, you know, and have an open relationship. But it's the box people put themselves in of keeping contained in thinking that they can't go outside of their relationship, or else they'll lose a person, or else, I don't know, like they don't feel safe that they can be honest.
But if that's the case, though, if you are fearing that you're going to lose that person, then obviously they have something to hold on to besides sex.
Ooh.
So I guess that defeats the purpose of having friends with benefits and not having any emotion.
Yeah.
When you think about that.
Yeah.
Let's fast forward. Let's say tomorrow you're in line with your first date. Okay. And everything's going well. Everything's going super well. And you're not expecting this. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, I think I'm going to do this. Like, here we are back at your place or his place. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I'm just saying if.
Right. Yeah.
Let's just say, shit may happen. And you're like having a great time. Are you going to 86 the second date?
No, I'd probably explored it.
You would.
Just because I had sex once doesn't mean we're compatible.
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying like you had an amazing time with this guy that you feel this connection. You're like, do I really want to go out again? I think I really like this guy. Because that can happen. That happened to me many times.
Thing. Yeah,
what's that?
I could cancel my afternoon one.
Love it, your afternoon one. I can cancel my afternoon guy. It's all right. There's others, which I'm sure there are.
Thing though, why waste our time? Why waste people's time and my time when there's so many good men out there and good women, and until you find the right person it's like Cinderella's shoe, you know? There's going to be one person that just fits.
Okay. So what is that? So tell me though. Tell me, what is it besides the sex? What is it going to take for this guy? Yeah, what is it going to take for this guy to fit your shoe?
I mean, first off, you got to be an entrepreneur. Like, I'm my own business owner. I've been doing it for 20 years. And a 9-to-5 just isn't hot for me, really, at all.
Okay.
He'll never get it. So that's one. I'm just going to say it. Like,
say it.
Money is attractive. If there's somebody that's just barely scraping by, like, and I have to be the one to be the breadwinner, like, I want someone equal to me, if not greater. So that's a factor too.
What about appearances?
Definitely need to be attracted to, like, attraction is huge for me.
Okay.
So,
well, it's for everyone. Wouldn't you agree? And let's be honest.
Absolutely. I just can't be with a certain ugliness.
As you shouldn't.
Let's just say it.
Yeah.
You know? I gotta be attracted. Attraction's important to, I think, 100% of people.
Okay. But tell me though, like, describe to me this guy. Like, you like tall, dark, handsome? You like scrawny, blonde hair dudes? Like blue eyes. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I like a little bit of meat. I don't like obese. That's really gross to me. My husband got really obese and it was really tough to get over.
Yeah. That's a hard pill to swallow when you got some overweight dude on top of you, just like breathing heavily. And you're like, yeah, that's.
Yeah. When you met him when he was fit, you know.
But you don't want to settle down though. It doesn't sound like you want to settle down.
I'm not ready to settle down. Okay, if the right person was right there in front of me, I would definitely be all into that. settle down, I think I'd want to play around for a while before we commit. But I would be monogamous with him.
How can you do that? Be monogamous and play around?
Okay, so is monogamous equal settle down with a person to you?
Yeah. Isn't that right? Isn't that the definition of being monogamous? I mean, you tell me. What? And again, there's no right or wrong answer.
I guess there's levels of a relationship because you're not just going to marry a person right away, right? I mean, unless you're like me when I was 20 and I met my person and 2 months later got engaged and 2 months later got married because we were virgins and that's what Mormons do. They got to get married to have sex. Yeah. So
I could just
now
picture
that I don't have to get married and I can have sex without a fucking certificate and all that legal bullshit. I mean, and I don't want to ever get married. I guess my thing would be like putting a ring on my finger and claiming me like we are in this long term. That's the settling down I'm not ready for.
Yeah. But can you be monogamous and have fun at the same time? I don't think you can. It's not the same definition. How is that possible? You tell me so you be with one guy, you can be with one guy and yet still play around with others?
No. Play around together.
I'll play around together.
Without committing long term or anything. Like we're enjoying each other. We're monogamous. There is no we're going to be together for as long as we can. Like, I don't picture you at the end of on my deathbed with me type thing. Like, it's us right now. We're going to see how long we last. Like, who knows? But we're going to enjoy each other while.
I get it. But this guy does have the potential to be that guy on your deathbed. He does have the potential to be at your side.
Yeah, I could consider it.
But how long would that be? Like, how long would you say would be an adequate amount of time for that guy to say, you know what? It's been 3, 6 months, whatever. We are now exclusive. Like, how long is that time frame or that shelf life?
I don't know that there's a length. I think that it's a depth of my heart and how it's feeling and how much I love that person.
Same thing with the rules of pussy. I don't believe that 2 months should be a rule. I don't even know who wrote that book, by the way. What's her name? I want to look this up. The Power of the Pussy. Yeah, who wrote this, by the way? Don't tell me it was an LDS woman.
I mean, it's possible. It does. Okay, so I've known this guy for like a month and a half. And I got in bed with him. And I did want to make sure that he was a good guy. I wanted to make sure that he was in alignment with me. Like, sexual energy is really important to me. I use it to manifest things. I use it to bring out my playful side. And I want to make sure. Okay, since I'm a trainer of NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming, we really specialize in the unconscious mind and how the unconscious mind is programmed. And say there's this bozo that has serious, dark shit going on inside him.
Okay.
That dark shit can actually manifest, that dark energy can manifest in my sexual energy into my life. So I am very conscious and aware of who I'm going to be with and who I'm going to share that part of me.
Right. But you would... Before this bozo, you would actually vet him though, right? You would go on a couple of dates with him, but you would definitely be able to cast him out as a bozo if he was a bozo on the first date. So how would you be able? No?
Some bozos hide themselves.
In disguise? Yeah.
And 2 months is a good indicator how frustrated a man could get or if he's going to respect a woman.
I don't know if I believe that.
Try it. Try it out.
I respect a woman probably instantly. Once I get to know them, I respect them.
Yeah, right. Depends on the man.
Well, I'm not every man.
You could do that. And then there's other ones that they just want to get their dick wet every single day. And who fucking knows where they've been?
True.
And they don't respect a woman. So I mean, how long does it take you to have a friend? Like, I'm not talking just an acquaintance. I'm talking like a real true friend.
Okay.
It takes time.
It does. Absolutely. Yeah, you got
So
to
you
build,
don't
like you
know if
said.
they're going to come and go, or they're going to come around just when you have a good time, like a good event or something, and then they're gone. Is this person going to actually text me? And do we actually connect in a way that we're going to have a true friendship? That takes time.
Yeah, but that's a different aspect, though. The aspect of meeting a friend without any sexual encounters and having a friend with those sexual encounters are two completely different things.
Absolutely.
Because your mind...
And yet you couldn't tell from a person from just meeting them if they're going to stick around too. So are we just a fuck buddy, like somebody to fuck? Or is this like a more serious thing? Like, it depends on what you're looking for too. Like, obviously you are not wanting a relationship, but you would love to have sex.
Yeah. Well, I do want to have a relationship. Just to be clear, I do eventually want to be in a relationship.
Right. Just not right now.
Just not right now. Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, depending on where I am, like right now, if I don't want to be in a relationship, like you wouldn't cross all of my checklists. It would be more of, okay, we're just going to have a good time together and be intimate, and
do you fear that though? Like, the more we say we don't want to be in a relationship, do you feel that later on, as a year now from now, do you feel like that same response becomes more tattooed and concrete than like, I don't want to be in a relationship, period, because now I'm having so much fun having my freedom to do what I want? The whole thought of being in a relationship now, no, I really don't care for it anymore. It was great to think of. It was great in hindsight, but now I'm actually perfectly fine of having my cake and more cake and just doing whatever the fuck I want.
I love it too. I think it's so fun. Like, I've never had so much fun in my life.
As fun as it is though, but that's the thing though, like, what are we doing then? What exactly are we doing? If the whole point of going online or meeting someone is to have someone every day, to be in a relationship, what are we doing? Are we really being truthful to ourselves here, to humanity? You know what I mean? Like, because the whole point is I want to be in a relationship, but if I keep telling myself I want to be in a relationship and I'll get there eventually, when is that time going to come? Because if I'm not looking for it, if I keep telling myself this girl is not the relationship type, then I'm going to keep telling myself every girl that I encounter is not going to be the relationship type. And then from here on out until I'm 7 years old, I'm going to keep telling myself the same thing, that they're just not the type of girl for being in a relationship. So from here on out, I'm never going to be in a relationship ever again.
I mean, I think that there's a lot to this. For one, I think that wherever you are is perfect. And if you're not ready for one right now, like, I'm not ready for one right now because the right one hasn't showed up yet for me.
Sure.
For one, I really think it takes a certain type of person to fulfill all the needs that a monogamous person feels like, okay, this is it. They fulfill all of that I couldn't fulfill if I were to have multiple women. It's kind of like once I divorced, it was like my husband fulfilled everything of me in those 20 years. Like, it was to have children and to raise our children together and to travel and do all the things a family unit would be. Yeah. And then there was a point where we fulfilled that. And then now it's like, now I'm having to learn how to fulfill myself. And at what level do I want to fulfill that? And what level can a man fulfill that for me? Because like right now, it takes multiple men to fulfill me right now. So until that one person shows up that can fulfill all of me in the way I want to be fulfilled, I'm going to keep dating. I'm going to keep looking for that person. Not that I really even need the person. And I think the most important thing too is to be okay being alone and loving yourself so fully that you get to a place where you don't need a damn person because you love yourself so much and you're so fulfilled. And usually once you get to that point is when the right person shows up. And you'll usually push them away because you're like, no, I'm good. I don't need
Right.
anybody. Right. But then usually that's when they wiggle their way in because your energies can't lie. Right. Like connection and chemistry. And when there's the perfect match, I mean, not that anything could ever be perfect, but when something is very next to 100% of what could fulfill you and in the life that you want to live, you can't deny it. And that's when your brain is like, actually, okay, I think now I think I could do this.
Yeah, but like you said, though, you said if you do happen to meet the guy that happens to be what you're looking for, and then you said like you're trying to find ways to push him away because you said, no, I'm good. I'm actually okay. I don't need to be in a relationship. I don't need anyone. I'm perfectly fine. Right? I think that's the thing the point I'm trying to make is that if we keep telling ourselves we don't need anyone, we're okay, we want to be independent, and then this great guy comes along and you push him away, then what the heck are we even doing? What exactly do you even want? Because everything that we've talked about is irrelevant now, because now we're just talking about, yeah, we just want to have fun, and that's okay. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but I'm just saying, like, what the fuck are we doing? You know,
I mean, what are we doing? It's a great question.
What are we doing?
I mean, because before I thought sex was for baby making, and then I'm done having babies. So now what is sex for? So define what it is that you are personally doing. What is it that you want in life? Like that is one thing that's so unattractive is when I sit in front of a guy and he doesn't even know what he wants in his life. He's just wishy-washy and all over the place. Like, I want a man that knows what he wants and he goes after it. And if I fit in that and he fits in mine, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
But if not, like, and it's a mismatch, then move on. Maybe we can play around for a bit or explore each other. I don't know. Like, I think you know within yourself what you're doing, like what it is. And there will be a moment when you're done doing what you do. Just like, have you ever been in a job and it's going great and you keep going, and then there's this moment where like you're just unsatisfied anymore. You're not satisfied anymore. So you look for something else, right? So we go in these cycles where we do this thing where we're not going to be monogamous or we're not going to be serious with anybody. But then there gets to a point where, and it's super fun at the beginning, right?
Of course. And
then usually, and it's not the same amount of time for everybody, but you get to a point where I want something more fulfilling. I want something that someone I can settle down with, you know?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Sometimes it might come earlier than we want it to because that person does show up and so we push them away. Or, okay, now I'm to a point and I haven't seen that person and now I want it. So now I'm going to go seek it.
Do you know what I'm also getting here is, so on my profile, it says looking for something casual. And women always ask me, what does that mean? What does that mean you're looking for something casual? What do you think it means? Like, how do you want me to paint it for you? Do you want me to show you? I'll happily show you. But when you hear like I'm looking for something casual, that means I'm looking for something casual. You should know what that means. It's look outside the black and white here.
No, everybody has a different definition of casual though.
Okay, what's your definition of casual?
Casual to you may be something different to me. Casual to me would be like, we just kind of go out once in a while, nothing serious. We don't need to get into each other's lives. I mean, we can chat here and there, but nothing like we're spending all our time together. None of that.
Yeah. That's the exact same definition as mine. Yeah.
Some people may have a different definition. I don't know.
Right. But that's the point, is that should be the same definition, because if you're looking for something long-term, then that's exactly what that definition implies.
Yeah.
But short-term,
some people can have casual short term, casual and long term. They're looking for casual and long term. And it's like, well, what?
I don't know.
What's that?
There's so many things, by the way, that we didn't even like talk about that I got so many more things I want to talk to you about. It's crazy. But I feel like, and this is good stuff though, by the way. And it's great to talk about this. It's really refreshing because I feel like you and I have just peeled the fucking Band-Aid off and just have really dug deep into the wound, which is good. Like this is a healthy conversation, by the way.
Yeah.
And people don't understand that. So I love this.
Yeah. And just being like brutally honest and take the reservation away, you know? Just who fucking cares what people think? Just do.
Yeah. I love that. I do really want to have you come back on again. Can we, would you be interested in coming back on again? Because I want to talk to you about your transcend, the PDF that you sent me. I want to talk about this, the transcend trainings, because there's so many things that I think would be really good for listeners and for future clients to learn more about this. And I want to know about your story, your NLP story. I didn't even ask you about that yet, but again, we're too focused on talking about great things, which is fine. So I would love to have you come back on again. But let me close this out here. My closeout question that I ask all my guests is, if there happens to be a spirit song that helps you soothe or groove or move on your good or bad days, tell us what's the name of that song, what genre?
Yeah. Right now it's A Sky Full of Stars by Coldplay.
Yeah. I know that song.
I don't know what genre they are, but I can put that one on anytime and just get back into just feeling really good and powerful and like I can just do anything. No matter what heartbreak I'm going through, no matter, I don't know. It just has a good feel and a good beat. It's good. Yeah.
Love it. Yeah, it's a great jam.
Yeah.
I love it.
How about you?
You know what? I'm going to have to say the band that I was listening to last night while we were having sex, and this was like the whole entire time, we were listening to Cigarettes After Sex. I don't know if you ever heard of them before.
No, I haven't. I'm going to have to look it up.
Yeah.
Cigarettes After Sex.
It's the best sex music you'll ever listen to. Yeah.
Okay, looking it up.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do that next time I have sex.
Oh yeah, that's my playlist.
Shit, then am I gonna think of Shervin when I
They're like, wait, is this Cigarettes After Sex? Have you been talking to Shervin? I love, hey, whatever I can do to help, honey. You know that. I'm always here to help.
Yeah. Same, yeah.
Yeah. But no, honestly,
cool.
I had a really good time with you today. Thank you. And again, I'm going to have you come back on again. So plan on a round two, my dear. I love you, girl.
Okay.
Have fun your dates tomorrow. Good luck.
Okay.